Good afternoon and welcome to Biztech Asian Midday Marketwatch. Our guest today is Kian Soon, CEO of Astral Asset Management out of Singapore. Kian Soon, good to have you on the show again.
Yes, good afternoon.
Now, Kian Soon, before we get your insights, let's take a look at how markets are performing across the region. We're going to start with crypto markets. Bitcoin is at 56,093. It's down 1.56%. Ethereum is at 3,508.86. It is up 0.31%. Now, across the region, we've got the Nikkei, which is at 28,151. It's down 0.28%. Shanghai Composite is at 3,534.43. It is down 0.35%. The Hang Seng is at 24,962.59, which is unchanged. The ASX 200 is at 7,274.9. It's down 0.08%. The Kospi is up 0.97% at 2,944.54. Closer to home, we've got the SGX, which is up sharply. It's at 3,156.34. It's up 1.42%. Rounding up the numbers, we've got Bursa Malaysia, which is at 1,592.67. It's up 0.55%. Now, Kian Soon, what's your view on the market performance this morning?
I guess we are seeing market movements across the whole Asia in response to the various news and earnings, US earnings that's coming up this week, as well as the potential challenges that that was caused by COVID virus across this whole region. Hong Kong has has an off day today because of typhoon, and that's why there's no trading day.
Okay, thanks for bringing that up. Kian Soon, I want to ask you about first, before we go on to anything else, the earnings expectations out of the US now, with all the uncertainties around. What's your view, and what are you looking out for?
I think currently the reopening trade earnings expectations is high. Analysts and the market expect that the results coming in will be good for the third quarter, mainly driven by the reopening trade stories, and everybody is looking up. People are going back to work in the United States, so on and so forth. However, there's also the concern or the challenge of inflation has been floating around for a couple of months, as we have seen prices of raw materials like natural gas, oil prices soaring up, as well as causing the downstream prices to actually rise. So the inflationary concern still remains, especially in the US as well as Europe.
And also in India, the inflation spike is anticipated as well, because they are a high net importer of energy. Where else do you see inflation impacting sectors?
I would say immediately you will see that there will be, in terms of prices challenge, right? You will see that in the coming Christmas shopping in the retail sectors, there is actually a shortfall caused as a result of the global supply chain situation. So people are rushing to buy Christmas presents even in September in anticipation of rising prices, or in anticipation that they are worried that they couldn't get their children's favorite toy.
I see. Okay, so that's something then to watch out for. But speaking of reopening, Singapore obviously has just announced reopening of travel and so forth. What's your view on this? Obviously, the stock market has taken this very positively, and we've got a sharp rise today on the SGX.
Ever since they opened the BTLs, I think the travel-related, as hospitality-related kind of stocks have a good rally since Monday morning. I think the market has again priced itself forward, thinking that this is just the beginning and there will be more VTLs or more travel allowed. But if you ask me, at the current situation where 3,000 travelers are allowed into Singapore, I think is a needle drop into the sea. Is a good sign. It's a good omen. It's a good start. But we need to get more travelers coming in, and traveling out before it has a real impact on the stock prices on earnings of companies like the travel airlines, the hotels, etc.
Yeah, Kian Soon, we've got a lot of risk swirling around markets today. What are the biggest three things that are concerning you right now?
I think the first concern would be the pandemic. Given how the situation is really uncertain, and despite the fact that a lot of countries have now come to a stable state, I think it remains to be seen how the mutations of the virus, as well as the situation of the vaccination in the lower income countries progress. I think this thing is not going to end unless more or less the whole world is vaccinated, and not just the developed countries or the fortunate countries that have access to vaccines. So I think that's the number one risk. The other risk obviously has to do with the financial risk as a result of ultra low interest rate that has been for so long. I think the implications of this will start to play out in the coming year, as you have a lot of money sloshing around in the systems, and they are causing a lot of assets. For instance, right, they're causing a lot of assets like property prices to go up, and even raw materials prices to show up, and this is unhealthy. If it's transitory, I think it's okay. But if it's in a longer situation, in a longer term situation, I think it will cause some financial distress.
Are you also, and this is again talk that's now swirling around, fears of stagflation? Is that overdone?
I think there are discussion, but I don't see that happening. As long as the central banks continue to get their act together. For instance, right after the global financial crisis, there is that equal concern of a stagflation. I think the central banks, especially in the United States, managed it very well, and we didn't have to face that. So going forward, if we could manage the situation well in terms of tapering, in terms of interest rate rising slowly, but definitely, I think we could get ourselves out of this stagflation situation.
Now, Kian Soon, as always, thank you very much for your insights and for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Now, we've been speaking to Kian Soon, CEO of Astral Asset Management out of Singapore, on Biztech Asian Midday Marketwatch. I'm Brian Fernandez. This video will be on our various social media platforms, as well as our website, www.biztech.asia. Please like and subscribe to our various platforms. Thanks again for tuning in.